Hey YouTube, it's Matt with Olympus Reptiles, and today we are going to be setting up some babies. So these are babies you've already kind of seen a little bit of, but now they're all shed out. So they are ready to see the world after their first shed. And what are we dealing with here? This was a pairing of what we call a HELLFIRE paired to what we call a HELLFIRE Blitz. So you're going to need a little bit of background on what a HELLFIRE is, right? And I will share that with you for those that are new, and then we'll kind of tell you where we're at with this project. So we had a champagne female. She looks a lot like she's in a good mood. Just a straight champagne, nothing special there. Definitely not champagne pastel, right? And that thing was bred to a Blitz male that I can't get to because it's behind Kurt right now, but just trust me, it's a straight Blitz. We've used both those animals multiple times and never once have we seen anything else like this happen. The only other time that champagne was ever bred was by me to a straight calico to make champagne calicos. That's it. We hatched out two snakes that looked weird. They looked very, at first we just called them pastel-like, right? Call them pastel-like. Looked like this. This is actually one of them. This might be mom. Fuck, I don't remember. So this is one of the other one. They look very much like a pastel. As you can see, the colors are really nice. They tend to, oh, hey girl, you're a little bit pissy right now. Tend to hold the colors pretty well. You know, the pattern's a little bit weird, but they look very pastel-like. You know, you just kind of see this and think, man, that's kind of a funky pastel. So that was what we called them. Pastel-like. Don't bite me, please. Thank you. Lo and behold, we raise them up, breed them, we prove it's reproducible. That was step one. So once we knew that, we decided to give the project a name. Being a Stranger Things fan, we named it the HELLFIRE Project. See what I did there? We went about trying to figure out what it is. We still haven't fully figured that out. I'll tell you at the end where I'm leaning, and I'll tell you at the end of this video what to watch for to know when we figure it out. Because what we have to find out is this its own brand new gene, or is this a new and random line of pastel? In talking to several people, only one of them who I'll mention by name was Brian Barczyk, and sharing some text messaging with him. You know, of course, this is years ago before cancer. I wouldn't have even bothered the guy with cancer about this because he had other shit to deal with, right? And exchanged some pictures. You know, he said it looks funky. I would work it out and see what it is. You know, but he also said that he'd had random pastels pop up in things that were not pastel. So he'd had some random pastels pop up. If you think about it, all morphs pop up randomly, right? So if they can pop up somewhere else, you can have a new line pop up. So we're trying to figure out, is this a new gene or a new line of pastel? That's what we're working on. So let's see some results. Result number one. This is what I think is just a straight HELLFIRE. Could have Blitz in it. I don't think so. When we first started producing this, because the pattern is a little funkier in this line than it is other lines, it can throw you off and make you think there is a Blitz there. I will just pick one out to go with this to show you what I mean. When you have two together, it becomes pretty obvious, okay? This is a Blitz. See how much bigger the eyelets are versus that? So even though you get the funky pattern that can make you think, man, I think maybe Blitz is in there, some keyhole and some of this, it's pretty obvious. You also get the onion rings. I'm calling onion rings. They're just big old rings like that. Pretty common in these. They look different. So this one is a HELLFIRE Blitz. This one is just a HELLFIRE. So let me check this out here. What our goal was with this clutch and pairing a HELLFIRE Blitz to a HELLFIRE was really to try to get a super. Because getting a super, because everything we've done so far is coming from the idea of, that's a girl, trying to prove it's not new, which I know sounds counterproductive, right? But if you can prove that it's not, if you can't prove it's not new, then it is new. So if I operate on the fact of, well, I just believe it's new and I want to see what it looks like with this, then I can just promote that it is new and I never do the work. And doing the work to me is really important. So I wanted to make sure that we knew what it was. So don't let that snake run away, Kurt. That's your one job. We are making our tags. So you have to bear with me as I run around and do a little bit of that. That's 241101, straight HELLFIRE. Let me go put it in the tub I've already prepared for it. I'll get those stickers on later, so you're waiting for that. So we'll come back to this HELLFIRE Blitz. Really, really cool, right? Neat looking snake. Which one of you stepped on the milliliters? Why? Why would you guys do that? Got to change all this back. No, that. There we go. Back to grams. And again, the pattern's just funkier. 54, which isn't uncommon. Remember, they're going to lose weight from the time they're born. When they first come out the egg, right? So they probably came out at like 65. They're going to drop some weight as they absorb all that yolk, expel some liquid, you know, and then they'll gain it back as they start feeding. So pretty normal to see that weight there. Let's check this one. That's a boy all day long. So then all we have to do is go here, edit this little thing, number 2, HELLFIRE, Blitz. And it is a male. I think I called it a Blitz, but that'll work. Whoa. Man, you're working really hard to not go anywhere, Snake. If you just chill out, we'll get you where you want to be. We'll get you where you want to be. All right, third. This is just another HELLFIRE. This one is not as... this one's more traditional pattern. So you get a lot of the funky pattern, but not all of them. We know which snake kept changing the thing now. Not all of them are going to go way off the mark. This one looks very, very much like a pastel. This is where one of the struggles is with this, right? Is you just don't know what you're getting into. Let's get this thing sexed really quick. It's a little female. So what have we done so far to prove this out? Well, we proved it genetic. We've also bred it to one gene that I feel is very reactive with pastel, and that would be calico. Let me put this thing up. We'll come back and kind of explain that. When paired with the calico, well, I'll show that on Patreon. We need to have some special stuff there on Patreon. But wasn't conclusive. It actually came out not as nice as a traditional pastel calico, but we only got the one. So was it just a low expression? You know, because pastel calicos usually have a whole bunch of white. And this was not super white, unfortunately. Save that one for last. Here is another one. This is another, this is a light one. We had a few smaller eggs. This is one of those. So it's only 38. So it's going to have some work to do. This is another Blitz pastel or Blitz HELLFIRE. You can just really see it in the pattern. Again, getting some of those rings we talk about there. The blown out eyelets. It is easy to see when you know what you're looking for. And I really like what Blitz does here. Blitz, Trick, Hurricane all being the same. That one's a boy. So let me get this thing labeled really quick if I can. For you ASMR people, you can listen to a printer. I don't get the ASMR videos. I don't know who watches that crap. I mean, to each their own. But hearing certain sounds over and over again just doesn't seem like it would do it for me. Oh man, wait till you guys see this one. Yeah. Yeah, of course it's the biggest one. Whew. That thing is thing's normal. That's what that is. And you're going to have some of these. If you notice when we do these videos, we don't make very many normals anymore. That is by design, but it doesn't mean we won't make any. It's actually a really cool looking normal. I love how the back is pretty much a black line. And here's the thing, for people who are new, they always come and they'll see something like this and like, oh, this looks a little different. It's got to have this and it's got to have that in it. Not necessarily. If you took 100 individuals, we all look different. Not all ball pythons, even normals, are going to look the same. There's going to be differences in pattern, differences in color. You know, this would be a normal that I think is cool, but it's still just a normal. Let's see what it is. It's a little boy too. A little boy too, so I can hit the print. But it's a really cool little snake. You know, I dig that thing. One more, then come back. Now this is the last one, and if you guys notice, we haven't shown a super yet. We do have one. However, it is a small little snake, and it is one that has not shed. We've been waiting long enough, though. It should have shed by now, so we're going to go ahead and set it up. It'll either shed in the tub, and I have them do this sometimes. They won't shed that new skin right away, and then we'll start to feed him, and then they'll have a shed. It'll be a little bit thicker. So he'll get that done, or she'll get that done, but it's going to just take a little bit longer. No big deal. We can deal with that. But we do want to go ahead and start offering them food. I don't want to wait any longer on that. So let's get you a view of this whole thing's body. There it is. Trying to hide from me. There it is. Now, what do I think of this? Well, it just looks like a nice super pastel. And therein lies the problem. As you can see, it's why we want to go ahead and get a feed. And they're small. It's already expelled the moisture it had. It needs to go ahead and eat and have. And it does have access to water. Always has. But now it'll have access to its very own without siblings. I'm going to bet this one's a female. I just feel it in my bones. Yep, it is. So that is the first time we've made a super Hellfire. Number 6. It does prove one thing for sure. There is a super form. But does this prove definitively that it is another line of pastel, or does it prove definitively that it's a new gene? I would say it does not, but it does lean me towards it being another line of pastel. Let me put this up. I'll be right back. And what I mean by that is, you know, and I'll show the other one on Patreon too, so you guys can make your decision, is I would expect a super version of this to look similar, right? You're hoping it looks vastly different, because if it looks vastly different, then you're done. Done with the work, it's new. If it looks similar, you know, like this does, you know, if I had to put a percentage on it now, I'd say we're probably at 85% in my mind that what we really have here is a new line of pastel that popped up in our collection, which is still pretty cool. And it's still kind of been fun to work on and discover that and kind of figure things out. We will figure that out fully, I believe, unless we just really, really miss the odds on another clutch coming up very soon. So I think we're going to get our answers, and that'll be the kind of the finality. And I'm kind of excited about that, because I have a whole nother project that popped up in our collection that we're moving towards as well, that I can't wait to see. And I'd like to finish this up before that one gets started. And that was the Mind Flayer project, if you remember seeing that. The Mind Flayer was born very, very small. It was a struggle bus snake, but it's doing great now. It's gaining weight, but it is going to be a little bit behind in getting it to breed. So we won't be breeding it this season, but the next season it should be. So I need to wrap this up on this year's babies, which we will. It's kind of worked out that way. Kerning, you want to add?
No.
All right, guys, make sure to click like, subscribe, and go over to Patreon, and we'll show you some of the work we've done to get where we're at. All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you all next time.